Hello, and welcome to uh, this edition of Thrive Live. We have a special guest and friend, Ericka Swayne, who is a senior business consultant from JPMorganChase, who is going to really dig deep into the opportunity that she is presenting, that she's providing to our community. As you know, Oakland Thrive is about connecting small businesses, any size small business, to resources. So that's the platform, and that's the purpose of this discussion. And I am so excited to bring you Ericka. How are you, Ericka? How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. I am doing absolutely wonderful. And thank you for this opportunity to be able to showcase what I'm doing on Oakland County Thrive. You guys are such a pillar in the community. So to be able to be on your platform, this is exciting.
So, Ericka, thank you, Ericka Swayne, senior business consultant at JP Morgan Chase. She is overseeing the Coaching for Impact program, and where she specializes in supporting entrepreneurs, fostering community partnerships, and connecting clients with tailored resources to achieve your business growth goals. As senior business consultant with over 15 years of experience in business banking, in economic development, in serving community, she provides these are complementary services, one-on-one consulting services focused on helping businesses grow and scale. Over the past 10 years, Ericka has advised more than 40 businesses in Southeast Michigan. Her background includes key roles with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, with Bank of America, and with JP Morgan Chase, where she has contributed to business retention, expansion, community engagement efforts across Michigan. We are lucky to have Ericka on our show today. So, Ericka, if I can ask a question, tell us about the coaching, JP Morgan Chase's in Coaching for Impact program, and what is it that you do and look for participants in the program?
Absolutely. So, our Coaching for Impact program launched in 2020, and it is a complimentary service, as you mentioned, where we are offering consulting as well as executive coaching to really help businesses not only survive, but to thrive and grow in this market at a sustainable rate. So, as a part of the program, small business owners are paired with a senior business consultant like myself, and we have three consultants in the market, and we deeply understand the challenges that business owners face. So, by providing personalized coaching, whether the business owner is navigating cash flow, whether they're seeking funding, whether they're planning for growth, our small business consultants will work right alongside that business to really to help to create a tailored plan that's specific to the business owner's needs, because every business owner has different needs. So we are really honing in on what those priorities are for that business owner so that we can tailor that plan, that strategy directly to what their need is. So the curriculum goes beyond core banking needs, and we really focus on helping the business owner strengthen their operation, improve their credit readiness, as well as prepare for the next phase within their journey.
Wow, how much time are you spending with your participants? And I guess before I even get there, you'd say it's curriculum based. Is it applicable to any size? Is there a specific size or of a business or revenue level? What are you looking for? Like, who would really truly benefit from this resource?
So we are first off industry agnostic.
Okay.
When we talk about industry agnostic, specifically to those industries that are bankable within our financial institution, within our firm. But while the program is really kind of designed for businesses that have been in business for at least 2 years of operation, so they have experience selling their product or service, entrepreneurs at any stage can really inquire. But really, like that minimum entry where we really feel that our strategic conversations are very helpful are with those businesses that have been in business for at least a year or two and they have that experience selling that service or that product. And then that way we can really hone in on what their experience has been, where their pain points are.
Mhm.
What do they do very well that they may want to really bring some of those traits into some of the opportunities that may be in their forecast. So yeah, so
That's valuable questioning and valuable insight to build a strategy for growth. Um, but how long are these sessions? Are these like this? It's a curriculum based session, correct? And yeah, what
yeah.
is the length of time? What is the commitment?
So our curriculum is really based off of what the specific needs are for that business.
Very nice.
The five focus areas, and I really like to say six, but I'm going to go through all five plus the one.
Oh,
So the
yes.
focus area that we really hone in on for business owners is one, business development. What does that look like for you? What are your strategies and your processes around that? Operations management. Where are there areas to streamline to help, whether that's capacity, to help so that you can continue to sustain growth within the business? We look at cash flow management. Cash flow is a huge part of a business being able to sustain and grow. We also look at access to capital. How are you positioned if you have that big opportunity? Are you well positioned to take advantage of that? Are you positioned to be able to obtain that access to capital? We also look at your team of trusted advisors. Do you have a team of trusted advisors? And then that cherry on top that I really like to hone in and I really like to champion with my business owners is looking at what are the other ecosystem resources that I can really be a connector for your business on, because this is going to be specifically tailored to what that business need is.
I normally don't hit the heart in the middle of the Thrive Lives, but I got excited when I heard how much, and I know that this curriculum is very thoughtful and well put together, but you hit all of the high points. And I thought that you were going to stop with the cherry on top, but then you had the actual cherry on top. So it is a commitment.
It is.
But I know that it's well worth it. And I know, and I'm so glad that we aren't referring to this resource as free, because it is totally not. Someone is paying for it. Thank you very much, JPMorganChase, for bringing this to our community. But my question now turns to small businesses and knowing how a lot of our small business owners and entrepreneurs operate. They are a lot of times feeling very isolated. Having a team of trusted advisors, is so critical. And the timing of it at the end of the program, once they've gone through all of the thoughtfulness, is the perfect, and mindfulness exercises or whatever the curriculum does, it's a perfect time to have that conversation, because a lot of entrepreneurs, and this, they're working on their business. They're looking down and they're working on it, and they don't even see or look out to recognize that there are resources and help out here. The time commitment. How do you enter a program or convince a small business owner that this is the time to commit this kind of effort to growing their business? What is it that you can say that would convince a small business owner who's listening to take advantage of this resource?
That's a very good question, and it's something that I think very, very deeply about, because I want to be respectful of that business owner's time, because a lot of times they're solopreneur, so they don't have the staff to help. But the one thing that I love to keep consistent, and one of the main focuses that I have with business owners when I talk about the program, because to be truthful, I really have not had an issue with convincing the business owners. Okay. Because this is the thing, you've got to take time out of the business. Take time out from working in the business to work on the business. So you've got to take that time out. You've got to have that accountability partner that can help you, that's resourceful, as well as able to add value to what it is that you're doing so that you can continue to grow as a business owner. So typically with the businesses that we work with, they've got their skin in the game when it comes to time. And they really do see the importance of having that accountability partner, of having that dedicated time, because they've seen it one way or the other. They've seen it through a success, or they've seen it through, okay, yeah, maybe I should do something a little bit different next time. So they see it through their experiences of being able to, and what that does for the business and for them to be able to work on that business, but to have that strategy partner that can really sit there and let's take a look at what your need is. Let me understand your business holistically, from your why, where you begin, where you're currently at, and then what are your goals, so that we can develop strategy, process, planning that's going to be sustainable so that the business can continue to grow. And those are the key points. Our program, while we do have specific focus areas, our program from start to finish is about 4 months. So about 120 days is
okay
to be able to work with these business owners. But
what I transform them.
Yeah, okay. What I will tell you is I engage with my alumni from this program ongoing. We also offer workshops. So we have different resources that are put in place to continue to have that touch point. We have workshops that we host that are specific to. We have one that's going to be coming up soon on the 21st, where we're looking at AI and how to utilize AI specifically for strategy and process and sustainability for your business.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. This is a resource that is exclusive to the alumni of your. Wow. So there's ongoing support and community.
In community. And we also have a plethora of resources on our landing page to continue to help our business owners with resources. And then as we walk through the program, we're connecting those business owners with ecosystem partners such as Oakland Thrive to help to continue that. Because as you mentioned, being siloed in a business is a dangerous place to be.
And you know the resources too. Looking at and knowing you as long as I have, and the contributions you've made in this community, you know where all the resources are. So yeah. Would you feel comfortable sharing just a couple of success stories, just to give us an understanding of, where a business owner who participated, where they were when they started and where they've grown and how, and I'm sure they're taking advantage of the alumni. So they're still growing. I mean, the story is with ...
Right.
But would you be comfortable sharing a few stories? Okay. Just to give us some insight on who actually benefits.
Yes. So I'll be more industry versus actual business name. So
fair enough.
One of the businesses that comes to mind is a business that is not only in the retail space, but they also provide a service. So this business had been in business for about 1.5 years. And they were experiencing some real steady growth. So they had their process, their strategy down, and they were experiencing growth, and they were positioned to be able to acquire another business that was in that same space. So with this acquisition, and this was as they were growing, this was before I connected with them, they acquired that business with the cash that they had saved from their profits from the business. So they bought this business. This business came with assets that included a building. They get into the building and they're like, we got to remodel this thing. Like, we've got updates that we need to do. And guess what? They didn't have a cash buffer. So I connected with this business. I understood where they've been, what their passion was for getting in that business, where they currently were, what their needs were and why. Really understanding, because a business owner will say, well, this is what I need. Why do you need that? And we get down to like the real reason of the why. And then I understood the direction that they wanted to go in. So walking through and really understanding that business, and helping them to understand how they needed to position for a cash buffer and access to capital so that they could continue to grow. We weren't able to extend that traditionally, and sometimes that happens. But that's why we have our resource partners. That's why we have our CDFIs. And so what we were able to do was to help them put together all of the things that they needed, really position themselves to obtain access to capital. They did a loan through one of the CDFIs, and they were able to utilize that funding not only for the building remodel, but then they also had cash on hand as a line to be able to continue with operations and expenses that made sense for that product. So
very nice.
Yeah. So that was definitely one of the wonderful wins that I had. And then I had another customer real quick, that was in the service-based industry. So they were providing services. And one of the challenges that they had was business development. So they really knew the service that they provided inside and out. They were really confident in that area and in that arena. But where they struggled with was the business development end. And a lot of times that could be through implementation of their process or lack thereof a process. So what we were able to do is really kind of hone in on where that gap was. And what they really needed was a process, was connections, was networking and the engagement for business development. After a few sessions, after some real, deep conversations on the why behind the challenges that they were facing with the business development area of their business, we put together some strategies. And by the end of the program, so again, I'm working with them for 4 months, and a lot of times, we don't see these flowers kind of blooming until kind of after that time. But by the end of that program, this was a quick turnaround. They had gotten 2 contracts.
Wow.
Yeah.
So. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, you had me hanging there. I'm glad you shared that. But they were committed, I'm sure. And that, I know that means a great deal. Wow. What has this experience you had? I mean, you've been there almost a year running this program, and wow, what meaningful work and fulfillment for you as an individual.
Yes.
But what has working in this program taught you about entrepreneurs in real time? Like, what are things shifting the way that we feel that they are? I mean, what has this coaching program taught you about entrepreneurs in Southeast Michigan?
It has taught me to be very, very appreciative of our small businesses and how those small businesses not only feed into our local economy, but our national economy, as well as the international economy. When we think about what businesses have experienced over the past 5 years, when we think about supply chain inconsistency, when we think about what they've experienced with COVID and the patience, the grit, the resiliency, the creativity in having to pivot, the market volatility that businesses have experienced, I am just at awe at what businesses have went through. And I make sure that I continue to reinforce that to them, because a lot of times we look at a business and it's like, okay, well, where are your pain points? What are you not doing well? Where can we where can we really help? But I like to look at, what are your wins? What did you go through during the past 5 years? how have you pivoted from that? Because that really, really builds, there's transferable skills within that grit, within being
Yes.
patient, within that resiliency, that creativity, and some of the things that they're thinking and obstacles and opportunity, they've got the answers. So sitting there and walking through that with them strategically helps to bring that out. But I'm just proud of I'm proud of our southeastern Michigan businesses and all that they've went through and how they continue to shine through.
I agree. I totally agree. And that grit is something that is unique in my experience, working with business owners around the world, if you will. That grit and that intentionality is a superpower that we have in the Michigan market, particularly in the Southeast Michigan market. I too feel inspired by this work and working directly with entrepreneurs, and it is because of that grit and that drive that you feel. And I want to just say also, it takes a level of bravery and courage to do this, and to do it at a time that was the most critical in terms of emergency and crisis, and that stirring and spurring all this innovation and reinforcing that we can get through it, the resilience that we have. I really appreciate you saying that, because I feel the same way. I mean, it's just marvel.
Hats off to our ecosystem partners. Hats off to our organizations like Oakland Thrive, who were a part of that, who were in the trenches with these businesses, helping them through that, who were a part of that creativity, of that innovation. Hats off. We have a very ecosystem, and I am just happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy to be able to work with Oakland Thrive, who is a staple in it. So I am, hats off to our ecosystem partners as well.
Yes, and we'll be sure to connect even more of our clients to your work. Now I'm going to shift just a little bit and ask a question about that isn't, well, we can grow from it. It's around growth. And it's just, I'm wondering from your work, common blind spots that you find when speaking with and coaching and working with small business owners. What is an area that you're noticing as a trend in people, entrepreneurs, they may not be paying attention to, but then going through this process, I mean, you make them fully aware. But going into it, what would you say is a common blind spot?
One of the common blind spots, I'm going to say one of the most common blind spots that I've been experiencing with business owners is the understanding that they have when it comes to revenue versus profit. And really understanding the why behind why that's so important, and why cash flow management and a solid cash flow plan is essential. And not only that, but having a trusted advisor, having someone that you're working with, that you are meeting with, to look at your financial health within your business so that you can really understand that and why that's important, has been a true blind spot. So I see business owners and we have conversations and they say, I'm doing very well. I'm doing good. My revenue was up last year based off of my tax returns. But I'm still struggling somewhere because my profit is not quite where I wanted it to be. And they may be positioning for growth. They may be positioning for access to capital, but understanding what happens in between that. Is that cash flow consistent?
What are you? Hard conversation.
And how and what's the plan around the consistency? How do you manage those downtimes that you have within the business? And then how do you manage, if you're service-based and you are invoicing, how do you manage that float? what are you, what does it look like for your payables? What do your
Yes.
payables look like? And do you understand when they're all due in relation to your receivables?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is where that output for that profit comes. You may be making money on this end, but if you're spending it in the middle and then you look at it on the other end and you're like, well, what happened? It's a huge difference. And sometimes business owners can get very excited about the market need for their service and or product.
Mm-hmm.
And managing and understanding the difference between revenue, cash flow management, and profit at the end of the day has really been a consistent conversand that I'm having with my business owners. And
it's a great way to put it. A consistent conversation. Not a blind spot, because that's a negative, but a consistent conversation. And it's an honest conversation. And it has to be had. It's going to be had. If you're bleeding, whether you're bleeding money or when you're doing well and your revenues are doing well, and that there's something going on. I mean, and it's an honest and a must-have conversation. So why not have it with a trusted advisor who knows this going in? You're coming, as a business owner, I'm speaking from that perspective. I'm coming into it, and I know that I'm coming to the right people. And I need some help and some support, because I in my gut know that something is off. So that's beautiful. Last question. What piece of advice would you give a small business owner who's listening to this program?
So that's a hard one. Because the advice that I may give one business owner may not be the same advice that I would give another business owner, really dependent on how they're positioned, really dependent on what their priorities are, because they're all so different. That is why I love what we do with Coaching for Impact, because we're able to tailor that advice. We're able to tailor that recommendation based off of those unique needs that business owner has. But if I were to round out one takeaway and one thing that I tell business owners, it would be to not silo yourself. And what I mean by that is to continue to engage in industry updates, continue to engage in industry networks and ecosystems. Get that business coach, attend that networking event. Because what happens is when you silo yourself, you can become unconnected, you can become outdated, and you really want to stay in the loop on what the latest updates are, on what the latest industry updates are, and you never know what opportunity that you may come across in those networks. So
all you need is one.
Right.
If you get one per, outing, one opportunity, one connection, that's all you need. You look up, you attend 10 events or 10 coaching sessions, and now you have 10 opportunities and tips. Yes. I love it.
Absolutely. So
it has been a pleasure. We're coming to a close on our discussion. I can go all day with you. You're outstanding, and you're speaking the same language. And I look forward to continuing the partnership between Oakland Thrive and JPMorganChase, the Coaching for Impact initiative. Congratulations on almost your first year anniversary here.
Thank you.
And how lucky we are to have you in our community and have this resource. But thank you for your time, and thank you for your advice.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ericka. I'll talk to you later. Thank you, Thrive listeners.
Thank you.